Welcome to the Feast Life, where we empower you, the modern homeschool mom, to create a life and homeschool you love, one founded on faith, family, freedom, and fun. I'm your host, Julie Ross, creator of the award-winning homeschool curriculum, A Gentle Feast, and a certified Christian life coach. For more information on today's episode and to access my free gift for you, check out thefeastlife.me. Charlotte Mason once said, "Life should be all living, not a mere tedious passing of time." So on this show, we seek to savor the feast of life. Girl, grab your favorite beverage and pull up a chair. You are welcome at this table. Hello, welcome to The Feast Life, a podcast for homeschool moms who are reimagining education, one rooted in connection, curiosity, and calling. I'm your host, Julie Ross, and today I'm inviting you into a deeply personal and powerful moment from one of our recent Feast Table membership calls. Because let's be honest, back to school season often comes with more than sharpened pencils and fresh plans. It comes with fear, the kind of fear that whispers, "Am I enough? What if I mess this up? What if this year breaks us instead of builds us?" If that's where you are today, you are not alone. And more importantly, you don't have to stay there. In this episode, I'm sharing a guided reflection that we walked through in my community to help you name the fear, discredit the lie, and write a new story. Run rooted in faith. So take a deep breath, light a candle. You're going to want to grab a journal for this one, or just listen in as you are. And remember, you were made for this moment, and you are not walking into this school year alone. Let's dive in. All right, let's start off with prayer, if you don't mind, if you're not driving. But if you're driving, you can still pray with your eyes open. Doesn't matter. But let's pray. Dear Lord, I just thank you so much for these beautiful women that have joined this membership. It was just such a step of faith for me to create this, and I didn't know if this was something people would want, even though past customers had told me, but it was still very nerve-wracking. And Lord, I just want to give you praise for this group that you have brought together. These women are just incredible. They're so encouraging and kind to each other. And I just love just the energy in the community and just how everyone is supporting and sharing ideas. And it's just been so fun to watch it take shape. I pray for all the people who are here and all the people that will listen to the replay, Lord. I just pray as we start our school year that we would be reminded that we are standing on holy ground, that this is a calling that you have given us. And the start of something new can always bring up so much fear and doubt and apprehension and worry and anxiety. And Lord, I just pray that we be able to turn it over to you. Help us to remember that we are never alone, that this is a calling that you have given to us, that you want us to shepherd our children's hearts and disciple them, and that you always equip those that you've called. And so help us to just rest in that truth. Help us to rest in your strength as we look at the coming year, as we think through the questions and the doubts and the concerns that we may have. I just pray that you would just fill us with your peace. I pray that all these women would just know deep down in every fiber of their being that they are enough, that they are fully and completely loved by you, and that they would just look at this school year with anticipation and hope of all the miraculous things that you're going to do in their lives and in the lives of their children and families. And we ask all of this in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, so welcome everyone. We are going to be doing some different things, okay? So before we dive into the questions, I have a little exercise that I would like to lead us through. So if you have a pen and a piece of paper, can you get that out? Because I'm going to ask you to do a little brain dump. So a brain dump is where you take the things out of your head and you put them on paper. Does anyone have any things going around in their head right now? I'm the only one? Okay. Just kidding. I know we're all We all have lots of things going in our head, okay? And what I want you to do is just to spend a minute thinking about this coming school year. So we're gonna go deep real fast here, okay? I'm gonna set a timer and we're going to do a 1 minute brain dump, okay? This won't be long, but what I would like you to write down as you think of this coming school year, what is stressing you out? What are you worried about? What are you doubting? What are you afraid of? And don't censor it. Like literally everything that comes to your head, write it down. I'm afraid my kids are going to hate me for the rest of their lives. I'm afraid I'm going to mess this all up and my kids will not be successful. It'll be all my fault. I'm worried about trying to make a decision about co-op or band or like whatever it is that is coming up for you. We're going to write for 1 minute and I want you to put it on a piece of paper. Don't censor it. Don't be like, oh, I'm not going to look at it, people. We don't have to share it. This is for you. Okay. Just literally everything that comes into your head. All right. Let me make sure. Gosh, this is really small print. Let me make sure this is on. Okay. Oh, okay. You can finish up what the last thought you had there. And again, after a call, if you have more that you want to write, this is such a powerful practice because here's what happens. Our brains have these thoughts, right? And we don't, they, like our brains are trying to protect us. They're trying to keep us safe. They're trying to help. So the way that they help is they don't want us to forget all these things that we're worried about or we're afraid of. They want to make sure that we deal with them. So what our lovely brain does is it reminds us of that thought on a regular basis so that we don't forget it, which is very kind of our brain, but actually not very helpful because the more we think about it, the more worried, the more fearful, the more doubtful, the more anxious we actually become. And then we start to overthink it and we can get into these spirals where we're thinking these anxious and fearful thoughts on repeat. And so by getting them out of your head and writing them down on a piece of paper, it actually helps relieve your brain. Oh, I don't have to keep reminding her of this. She's not going to forget it. We have it written down. We're going to be okay. I encourage you to finish, spend some time doing that. And then what I want us to do is I want us to look at this list and I want us to start to question what we wrote down. So look at the first thing that you wrote down. Is that thing that you're afraid of or you're anxious or you're worried about, is that the ultimate truth? What is more true than that fear? Not that there's not any truth to it, right? Because otherwise your brain wouldn't be giving it to you. If you had the thought of I'm a purple unicorn, your brain would be like, oh wow, we're starting to lose it. We don't know what's going on. You wouldn't even think about it again, right? But they give you thoughts that kind of like, oh, there is some truth to that could actually happen. That is actually something I need to make a decision about. But is there other truths that could be more true than that fear? Is this fear telling me the ultimate truth? So I'm going to put these in the chat here and I'll set the timer and we're going to spend another minute and I just want you to journal what comes to mind when you think this. Is this fear telling the ultimate truth and what is more true than that fear? All right, go. Okay. All right. So the last thing that we're going to do, so the first thing that we did was we named the fear, we named the worry, we got it out of the dark, brought it to the light. Then we questioned it. We want to discredit the fear. So first we gave all those fears and those worries a voice. Then we discredited them. Not that there's not any truth to them, but there's also something that's more true. Okay. And then oh, thank you. And then the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to write a new story. So again, we're just going to focus on that first thing, unless you have more time. But so for that first thing that you wrote down that you were afraid of or you're worried about, I want you to write out the reasons why this will work. I want you to write a new story. How could you see this different? How could it work out? So I'm going to copy that. All right. So we're going to take that worry, that fear, that doubt, that decision you have to make, and we're going to write about how it could work. List all of the reasons why this will work. What would it look like when it works? And I'll give you 1 minute for that. And then we'll discuss. All right, go. Okay. So I'm just going to share my example here to walk you through it. So if you're like, I'm not really sure what we were doing here, Julie, maybe this will be more clear if I give you like a more of a concrete example here. Okay. So one of the things that I'm worried about for this coming school year is my daughter recently got diagnosed with a seizure disorder, my senior. And so I had planned our whole school year with her taking dual enrollment classes and then my other two teenagers taking these kind of enrichment classes at different places on different days, thinking that she would be able to drive to all of that, which is not going to be the case now. And I don't have any other drivers yet. So my fear is I won't have enough time. I'll be stressed about getting all of my work done because I'll be spending so much extra time in the car this year. Then the next thing I did was what else is true? What is more true than this fear? I built a gentle feast when my kids, no one could drive, and I was driving everybody anywhere. So if I could do it then, I can do it now. I can ask others for help. My other daughter just turned 16 yesterday. She can get her license in a couple months. This is just temporary. So I wrote down things that are also true. Okay. And then the last part is to write down a new story. List all the reasons that this will work. So we could take her to her class in the morning, and then my other teens, we could go do our work at a coffee shop until she's done with her class. And maybe this will just be an amazing time where I get to bond with my other two teens and they have the sweet memory of getting to sit at the coffee shop every morning with their mom. Maybe I could use the time that I'm going to be in the car with my kids to have some really cool discussions and disciple them and pour into their lives before they leave for college. And I wouldn't have had that time if they were just driving themselves. Do you see how that process works? So something that was stressful, something I was afraid of, you dissect it a little bit, what else is true about it, and then you write out how this could work. Because when we say the thoughts that make us feel fearful, right? It doesn't feel good. It's discouraging. It's like, why even bother? This is hopeless, right? But then when we go through the process at the end, they're like, yes, we can do this, right? We feel empowered. And that's how we want to approach the school year. But if we just let all those fears and those worries just play on autopilot in our mind and we don't take the time to write them down, if we don't take the time to identify them and work through this process, they will consume you and they will affect the way that you show up in your homeschool. So more important than all the questions, should I combine my Form 2 and my Form 1 for geography, or should I buy the notebook with the lines or without the lines, and like all these nitty-gritty questions that are consuming you guys, I just want to bring you back to this because this is so important. You working through these things is going to help, it will change the way that you show up. And that is what is going to make the difference in your kids' lives, more important than if the notebook has lines or not. Okay. It is. It's so hard at the beginning of school year. We feel so overwhelmed. We feel all these doubts and these fears, and we don't know what to do with them because nobody ever taught us how to work through this process that I learned in my coaching program. So I wanted to share that with you. But you feel the fear, you name it, write it down. I recommend writing it down rather than just letting it go in your head. You speak the truth that is more real than the fear. And then you choose the story you want to live. Write it out, say it out loud, put it on a post-it note. What else is true and how this will work because. And I wanted to share with you, I wrote out a few things today. You want to remind yourself of what is true. So you can write out your own. I think it's really powerful to write out your own. We want to remind ourselves to have faith over fear. So here are some things I wrote out. I am equipped and chosen to lead my children in this journey of learning. You don't need to know everything. You just need to be faithful. Say that first one with me. I am equipped and chosen to lead my children in this journey of learning. All right, let's read the second one. Well, I'll read it first and then we can read it together. My presence and love are more powerful than any perfect lesson plan. Your children remember connection, not checkboxes. All right, let's say it together. My presence and love are more powerful than any perfect lesson plan. All right, I don't need to have it all figured out. I just need to keep showing up. Progress is more powerful than perfection. This is a really important one, especially at the beginning of the school year, because we think we have to get it all figured out before we start the first day of school, or we're going to completely mess it up. So let's say this one all together. I don't need to have it all figured out. I just need to keep showing up. I recommend you breathe afterward too, because we hold our breath too much, especially when we're stressed. I release the fear of getting it wrong and trust the unfolding of our unique path. Here's a shocker. You might not know this, but I'm going to say it. There is no one right way. Only the way that's right for your family. All right, let's say it together. I release the fear of getting it wrong and trust the unfolding of our unique path. This homeschool doesn't have to look like anyone else's. It's allowed to be beautiful in its own way. Comparison is a thief. Contentment leads to peace. All right, let's say it together. This homeschool doesn't have to look like anyone else's. It's allowed to be beautiful in its own way. Every challenge is an invitation to deepen our connection and grow together. Struggles aren't a sign of failure. They're part of the process. This one applies to what you were talking about, Ashley. All right, let's read it together. Every challenge is an invitation to deepen our connection and grow together. What if we saw the challenges as invitations? All right, the last one. I was made for this moment, and I'm rising to meet it in God's strength. You're not alone. The God who called you will equip you. All right, let's read it together. I was made for this moment, and I'm rising to meet it in God's strength. All right, deep breath. I also really recommend coming up with your own and what feels like these are the truths, these are the things I need to remember based on your particular fears and worries. But I just wanted to close our time together. I wanted to read something to you. So before the books are cracked open and the pencils are sharpened, before the schedule finds its rhythm and the lessons unfold, I want to speak to you. Because maybe under the surface of all the plans and prayers, there's a whisper of fear. What if I can't do this? What if I mess this up? What if it's not enough? Oh, sweet mama, I've been there too. And I want to remind you of something powerful. Fear does not get the final word. Yes, doubt is going to come visit. It's part of doing something that matters. But you don't have to invite it to stay. Instead, you can name it, question it, and tell a new story. That was the process we did at the beginning, in case you missed that. You can tell a truer story, a braver one, a story that starts like this. I am equipped and chosen to lead my children. My presence is more powerful than perfection. Even when doubt whispers, I will listen to the voice of truth. These aren't just affirmations, they're declarations of what really is true. A mother is called to create beauty in the everyday. A mother is called to be a guide who shows up with love, not just lessons. She's called to be a woman who chooses faith over fear day after day, minute after minute. So as you step into this new school year, I invite you to hold this rhythm. Feel the fear and name it. Speak the truth that's more real than that fear. And then choose the story of how you want it to be. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep showing up. All right, thanks for listening to today's episode. Let's wrap up with some key takeaways. Number one, you are not the only one feeling nervous. Fear is a natural response when we're stepping into something that matters, but it doesn't get the final word. Number two, name the fear. Get those thoughts out of your head. Put them on paper. This will help you to stop the spiral of overthinking. Number three, discredit the fear. Ask yourself, is this the ultimate truth? What else might be more true than this fear? Number four, write a new story. Choose to believe in what is possible. Reframe your fear into a vision of how things could work. Choose to have faith. Number five, speak truth over yourself. You can come up with your own phrases like, I am equipped and chosen. My presence is more powerful than any perfect lesson plan. Whatever you need to help remind yourself of what is true and help ground you in what really matters. And last but not least, homeschooling is holy work. You're not just checking off boxes, you're shaping hearts and created sacred spaces for growth, wonder, and connection. It is normal to be afraid when we're doing something powerful. So if you didn't get a chance to do this yet, take out your journal and ask yourself these questions. What am I most afraid of for this school year? Then ask yourself, is that fear the ultimate truth? Then what is more true than that fear? Then how could this situation actually work out for good? And last but not least, what story do I want to live this year? Remember, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep showing up. Thanks for listening. Hey there, Julie Ross here. I just wanted to say thank you for listening to today's episode. If you like this show, it would mean the world to me if you would leave a positive review in iTunes. This really does help people learn about the podcast. And each month I will pick a winner to receive a free gift. Don't forget to check out all the free resources we created for you at thefeastlife.me. Thank you.